Hey everyone, Megan here from meganmins.com, and today I'm going to share with you 9 easy ways to relieve stress. A few months ago, I decided to meet with a nutritionist because I was feeling like I wasn't taking good care of myself. I was gaining weight. I was waking up feeling exhausted. I was going to bed and not sleeping well. I wasn't eating right. And I just felt like I was in a chronic state of stress. I remember my first meeting with my nutritionist. She even asked me on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you? And I non-dramatically and very honestly said a 9 or a 10 pretty consistently. Now, that is not necessarily due to the work I'm doing, but how I'm managing stress, how I'm taking care of my body, and as a result, I was feeling stressed out constantly. So one of the things we talked about was stress management and how it was the most important thing I could do for my well-being, besides eating well and, all the healthy tips that actively targeting stress and managing it better would transform my life. And that was almost 6 months ago now, as of the date that I'm recording this video. And I can say that it's absolutely true. And I'm not perfect at it. I definitely still have days or weeks or months where I get out of the habit of managing my stress well, and I can tell a really big difference. So what I want to share with you, the 9 easy ways to manage stress, are exactly what I've been doing and can tell a difference from when I do them. So I am excited to share them with you, and let's go ahead and dig in right now. So the first way to relieve stress and anxiety is one that you probably don't want to hear and are probably already knowing you should do, is get more sleep. Now, when my nutritionist told me to get more sleep, I kind of scoffed. I have different beliefs on sleep. I always thought I didn't really need that much sleep. I kind of thought the 8 hours of sleep thing was fake and just a made up number. And I was a little resistant to it at first, but we talked more about sleep and how important it was. And one thing she said that really encouraged me to actually take getting more sleep seriously was the fact that my body has been in a state of chronic stress for however long. And the only way for my body to really recover is sleep. And that's the only time of the day when I can recover, especially since I'm not changing my job. My day-to-day really can't change very much. So that sleep is really essential for me as I'm in a state of high stress to give myself time to recover so that I can keep going and not burn out. So the only way for me to get more sleep was by setting a bedtime, which sounds very unglamorous, but I really truly sat down and looked at, okay, if I want to wake up at this time and I want to get this many hours of sleep, then this is when I need to go to bed. And not only is this when I need to go to bed, this is the time when I need to start getting ready to go to bed. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'll be downstairs in the living room and say, oh, it's time for bed. And it's probably not an hour until I'm actually head on the pillow asleep. So knowing that, I actually have an alarm go off on my phone at a certain time every night that says start getting ready for bed. That's kind of my cue to stop whatever I'm doing, get up, and start doing my routine before it's time for bed. As far as figuring out how many hours of sleep you need, I don't think you should just assume you need 8 hours or 6 hours, but really take the time to see how many hours of sleep are you getting right now and how do you feel? And if you do add on another 30 minutes or an hour of sleep, do you feel better? Do you feel the same? Do you feel worse? And I noticed for me that even though I thought I was good in that 6 to 7 hour range, when I started paying attention to how I felt in the morning, I actually woke up feeling rested when I did get 8 hours. So for me, that has become my new sweet spot. 8 hours really does work for me. I can tell a difference, even if it's just 7.5 hours when I wake up. I feel kind of crummy, and I know that if I go back to sleep for 30 extra minutes, I actually feel great. And that brings me to the next part about getting more sleep. One thing my nutritionist told me was that I actually had to make sleep a priority. So I needed to choose sleep over other activities that I might choose. So even though working out is great for you, I should choose sleeping in over working out. So if I wake up, even if I've had 8 hours of sleep and I feel terrible, instead of getting up and working out and doing my morning routine, I should compromise on a few of those items so that I can get more sleep. So that has been a huge shift for me because I was absolutely the type of person that would just wake up and force myself to get going and drink tons of caffeine to function. And now instead I wake up and I just say, I feel great, I'll get up And days when I feel like I need another 15 minutes or 30 minutes, I let myself sleep for another 15 or 30 minutes without feeling guilty. So that has been a huge priority shift for me and has really helped me to learn just how much that extra 15 or 30 minutes can make a difference for how I feel. The second thing to do to relieve stress is to do a brain dump. I love to remind myself that stress starts in the head. So anytime I'm feeling stressed out, I really have to address what's happening in my mind in order to try to manage the stress that may show itself physically. So I like to do a brain dump by doing stream of conscious journaling, which I actually have a video and blog post about that I will link to below this video if you want to learn more. But basically you just grab a piece of paper or a journal and you just start writing literally whatever comes to mind. You can't second guess yourself and you just see what comes out. A lot of times it will surprise you and it really helps just get all of the feelings, the thoughts, the doubts, the fears, maybe someone hurt your feelings and you've kind of been burying that. And anytime you sit down and journal, even if it's just for 5 minutes and do that brain dump, you are going to find a lot of clarity. And I always feel relieved after I've gone through that. So definitely sit down and do a brain dump when you're feeling stressed and see what comes from it. You might talk yourself through something that's been bothering you. You might actually come out with a good idea on the other side. So you never know what's going to happen. And that's part of the excitement. When you're doing a brain dump or a stream of conscious journaling, the key is definitely to just trust yourself, trust the process, and don't overanalyze it. Just let it all flow. The third thing you can do is take a break. So whether you're working from home or in an office or no matter where you work, if you're feeling stressed, if you can, take a few minutes and actually leave your workspace and take a break. So whether that's going to cuddle with your dog or take a step outside to get some fresh air or get a coffee, do something to take a break from just the stressful area that you are in. And so I usually set a timer for at least 5 minutes. If I'm feeling really crunched, I can always take 5 minutes. If you can, maybe take longer, but definitely take a break when you're in those moments of high stress in particular. And I find that just taking a walk, like just stepping away from my desk, not even taking a walk, but just stepping away from my desk. Sometimes I'll even call someone, a friend or a family member, and it really just helps you kind of reset and not feel like you're in the middle of that stressful moment. I also like to schedule out breaks. So I know if I'm doing a lot of focused work at one time, I will get tired or I'll get stressed out. And so I'll actually even put breaks on my calendar, especially on days where I have meetings. I will schedule like lunch break, little 30-minute breaks here and there just to protect that time and remind myself that I need to proactively take breaks instead of always just taking them reactively. Tip number 4 is to take a bath or a shower. Now, I never was one who grew up taking bubble baths to relax, and I'm admittedly still not in the habit of doing that, but whether you're a bath person or a shower person, taking the time to go take a shower or a bath, and not only just doing like a quick shower or bath, actually taking a few minutes to like set the mood. So light some candles, put on some good music, maybe dim the lights if you can, maybe drop some essential oils in the shower or the bath, any and all of that. Doesn't even have to be all of it, just one of those things. I find that it just transformed the experience into like a task for your well-being into a luxurious experience that can really help you just relax and de-stress. So just take a few minutes if you can, maybe it's the end of the day and you're just feeling a little worn down and stressed, in order to just have a nice sleep and not carry that stress with you into the next day. Go take a nice bath or shower. The fifth thing you can do is go on a walk outside. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, psychologists studying how exercise relieves anxiety and depression suggest that a 10-minute walk may be just as good as a 45-minute workout. So on those days where you're feeling really stressed out, it might actually be more impactful for you to not even work out and instead go take a 10-minute walk outside. I love taking a break and taking a walk outside during my day because not only does it help me feel good physically, but it clears my mind. It's also a great opportunity to listen to podcasts or audiobooks. And honestly, when I'm stressed out, if I don't have time to go on a walk, even just standing outside, being in the fresh air, doing a little stretch makes the world of a difference. So no matter how much time you have, no matter where you are, how much outdoor space you have access to, try to go outside when you're feeling stressed, because that fresh air is just going to really help clear your mind and give you some perspective. My 6th tip for how to relieve stress and anxiety is to light a candle or diffuse essential oils. Don't forget how important your nose is to your mood and your mindset. According to Psychology Today, scents can have a positive effect on mood, stress reduction, sleep enhancement, self-confidence, and physical and cognitive performance. So not only does lighting candles or diffusing essential oils just make everything seem lovelier, it really can affect your mood and help you feel less stressed. Now, if you can't light a candle where you're working, maybe you're in a corporate office, one trick that I did when I worked in an office was to use a candle warmer and buy specific candles. I think Target used to sell them, I'm sure they still do, that were meant for candle warmers. So you could still get the benefit of the fragrance and the relief without necessarily burning a candle or lighting a candle. And maybe you can use a diffuser where you are. So I prefer to do diffusers. So I actually have a diffuser in my office and in my bedroom so that no matter where I am, I can kind of get some stress relief. Tip number 7 is for those moments where you are truly in a high stress moment. And it is to take some deep breaths. So this is one that you can whip out no matter how busy you are, what's going on, whether you're around people or not. But truly, when you're in a moment of genuinely high stress, I want you to just take a few seconds and literally, I'm at my desk right now, but literally push back, distance yourself, close your eyes, and then just take 3 to 5 really deep breaths. Now that takes just a few seconds. Maybe you even did it now as you were watching as I was saying it. But by doing this, it's going to help you just really calm down in the moment and not feel that like reactive building stress that we can sometimes feel in those moments. Now, if you have more than just a few seconds, you can also try breathing exercises through either the Apple Breathe app that they have, or I like Headspace or Calm. Those are both guided meditation apps that also just have breathing exercises. So even if you don't want someone to guide you through meditating, you can actually just do simple breathing exercises that will still help you get that same relief. So that's really up to you and your personal preference, but at the very least, in those high stress moments, intentionally push yourself away and do a few deep breaths to really help recenter yourself. The 8th way to relieve stress and anxiety is probably not one you're going to like, and it is to stop drinking caffeine. Now, I love coffee, used to have coffee as a big part of my day, and in moments of stress where I felt like I had to hunker down, I was completely guilty of going to get my second or third cup of coffee, maybe even more depending on the day, and relying on that caffeine to help me push through. It wasn't until I read the book called Woman Code that I learned that as a woman, this caffeine was having a pretty terrible effect on my hormones, and at the time I was reading the book, I was experiencing severe acne from hormones that I've never experienced before. Everything felt like it was all over the place with my body. And so it came at a perfect time for me to not only learn about hormones, but to really learn about the impact caffeine has on our overall health. So I did the 4-day reset. I had 4 days where I didn't drink coffee or any caffeine. I didn't even do green tea, black tea, nothing. It was no caffeine whatsoever. And it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I expected to have caffeine withdrawals. And I think the reason I didn't was because I was really supporting my body, eating tons of vegetables, drinking tons of water because of her plan. So just if you cut it cold turkey, you might have caffeine withdrawal. But I was shocked at how much better I felt. Even when I went back to some of my more regular eating habits, just by cutting out caffeine, my energy levels felt very stable throughout the day. I didn't feel like I was having as many ups and downs. I felt like just stable would probably be the best word for my energy. And as a result, I never felt as anxious or stressed. Stressful things would happen, and I felt like I was able to process it and not let it affect me. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands so much. I felt like I was experiencing stress in a different way. So the stressful situation would happen, and instead of actually physically or emotionally affecting me, I could process it and move forward. So that was a game changer for me. For 4 or 5 months, I actually didn't drink a drop of coffee at all. I was only doing herbal teas, and it was great. But I actually very recently, like the week I'm recording this, have started to drink some coffee again. And while I really enjoy having it back in my life, I do feel a little bit like my energy fluctuates a bit more. So I'm not really sure. I might cut it back out, or maybe switch to just decaf. But those months where I was doing just herbal tea, really a game changer for stress and anxiety. So highly recommend it if you're really looking for something to help alleviate some stress. Try cutting out caffeine, even if it's just for a short period of time, and see if you notice a positive difference. The 9th easy way to reduce stress and anxiety is a bigger one. It is to set boundaries and stick to them. To set effective boundaries, you really need to take some time and observe how things are making you feel. And don't just think about it and make a note of it in your head, I really would recommend you have a piece of paper and you actually have a list where you can go to and jot things down when they make you feel stressed or anxious or uncomfortable or anything like that. You know, there are those moments where you can just feel that a boundary was crossed. Anytime you feel reactive, any of that, have a piece of paper that maybe for 1 to several days, you're jotting down what makes you feel uncomfortable or stressed, and do something about it. So, it's okay if you can't do it the same day, and maybe you can't control everything, but I bet you there are things on that list that you can change. So whether you delegate it to someone else, you stop doing it entirely, or you change the way you do it and draw these boundaries, that is where you're going to see some big differences. So here's some examples of what boundaries might look like. Working only from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., no work-related apps getting opened before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m., maybe checking email only at 2 different times a day and knowing what times those are. Getting off your phone at 8 p.m. every night, maybe having no meetings on Tuesdays or Thursdays, maybe having no more than 3 meetings on any given day, no working on the weekends, no social media on the weekends, maybe just no more than 30 minutes of social media a day. Or maybe you have focused work time where you have no interruptions and no meetings from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. So those are just some ideas. They're all pretty much work related or social media related, but those are some ideas of boundaries that you could set. But again, the key here that I mentioned is not only setting effective boundaries, but it's really sticking to them. And the only way to do that is to really make a commitment to yourself that you are going to hold to these boundaries and doing what you can to make it easier, whether it's setting reminders and alarms on your phone, or maybe if it's one of the app related boundaries, you can use, I don't know what Android has, but Apple has a feature called screen time where it automatically block certain apps after certain times, or after you've been on them for a certain period of time. Or maybe you need to set, maybe you're visual and you need actual reminders around you in your space. Or maybe you need to tell someone, your partner or your friend or a family member, about this boundary so they can help hold you to it. Or maybe you need to tell your community. So there are a lot of different options here, but ultimately, to stick to a boundary, you have to remember the boundary and remember it in the moment so that you can do something different. And you have to just make the commitment to yourself to do it. And it's okay to not be perfect. Sometimes you will break a boundary, but the idea is that when you break a boundary, you've broken it. It doesn't just get swept under the rug. You've broken it. You feel how uncomfortable or stressed out or anxious it makes you feel, and you don't want to feel that again. And so you break this boundary less and less over time. So now you know 9 easy ways to relieve stress and anxiety. But if you want to take better care of yourself, you really need a self-care plan. Now, that isn't as intense as it may sound, but it is just taking a few minutes to work through an exercise to have a game plan for how you're going to support your body and your mind and your emotions throughout a week. And I actually have a free self-care planning workbook that guides you through the entire process of how I create a self-care plan, and it has examples, it's got blank sheets for you, and it's completely free. So if you want to download the self-care planner and learn how to take your self-care to the next level, then click the link below this video and you can get that right to your inbox, and I hope you enjoy it. So now I want to hear from you. How do you manage and relieve stress and anxiety in your life? Have you tried one of these tips? Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? Do you have your own little tips and tricks? I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a comment below this video, and I can't wait to chat with you in there. Don't forget to download that free self-care planner if you're interested in that. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. My hair looks crazy. First time recording in a brand new room. And you know what? I forgot the wine. I'm back with my wine. Knocked my lamp over. A few months. Did you hear that? I think I'm sweating. Do I have wine teeth? Probably have wine lips. Probably a mistake.